Hi, my name is Kay Hernandez. This is for chem 1412-62400 for J Fox. And I'm going to be explaining the Carolina labs, all 5 of them. So, the first one we're going to do is the determinant of acetic acids. And in this lab, we had to take the mass of the vinegar, the volume of the vinegar, its density, its initial NaCO volume in a syringe, and just calculated everything. And also I took pictures of that, so I'm going to add those in here. And this is the worksheet for it. And I did the lab. Also, I had to do vinegar sample 1, 2, and 3. So it was 3 different samples for the first data table. And then for the second data table, it was the trident of vinegar with sodium hydroxide. And also it was another 3 samples. And it was the same thing. Just the mass of the vinegar, the volume of the vinegar, the syringe, the volume of the NaOH, and the moles of the acetic acid in samples. And then after we calculated everything, like its molarity and the mass of the percentage of the acetic acid, we just took the average and calculated the percentage of the mass. And then my percentage was 2.57 of the moles. So that was the first lab for Carolina. My second lab that I did was the flask one, so the titration of calcium hydroxide. And it was almost like this last one, but we're just doing the KSP one. And yeah, and the calcium hydroxide needed the Elmer flask volume, the mass of it with the calcium hydroxide solution, and the lime water. And this was like just to try the volume, the moles, and the molarity of the HCl in each one. And so I filled out the data table and did that. Also, it was a part 2 to it. It was basically the same thing with the 3 samples. This is with the calcium hydroxide. And yeah, the same thing, the volume density, the mass of the flask, and then the calcium. All together, getting the volume, moles, and molarity of it, and then calculating it. That was for this one. The next lab was determining the KSP of calcium, and this one was a little bit more easier than I believe than the other labs. So they told us to get an Alka-Seltzer first, and then the Tums. And then I feel like it was easier because they just wanted us to change the color of it, and also because we added those specific drops so we can determine the acetic acid of each one. And then I did with this one and also with this one, and they kind of turned the same color. So when I added the hydroxide, the HCl, the NaOH, I added it, it turned into a purplish colorish. And yeah, so it started off pink, turned out purple, and then ended up orange for the Alka-Seltzer. And then when I continued for the second one, I added almost the same thing. And then there was also a third part, which we used the Alka-Seltzer, the Tums, and then the milk mass. And the milk mass was that's the one that it kind of didn't turn orange at the end. It kind of turned into a deep purple color. So I believe like the anti-acid actually like went up in it. Very excited to see. The next lab that we did was this is together. Okay, this is it. Okay, so this is for Le Chartler lab, and this one we had to take so we did warm water, cold ice bath, and then just room temperature water. And we put these test tubes under stress, and then also we added the color solutions and the copper chloride, the sodium chloride, the color of the solution, and the color of the other solution that we needed. For 5 test tubes, we did that. And then the second data table was for the ice water, and just determine the color that turned blue or green, and it did. And also the direction shift of the reaction. And the first one for the test tube 4, it was at equilibrium, and then the hot water, it went to the left, and then for the cold bath water, it turned to the right, which turned green. And then we just measured the degrees in Celsius. For the next one, activity 3, the calculations of pKa from the same lab data. We just explained that the determinant of the volume. So we got it, we determined it, and then also the pH of 3.102. And then we took the pH, we got the moles, and then we continue on with vinegar sample 1, 2, and 3. Okay. And then the final lab that I did was, oh yeah, so this one was for us to calculate the colors of the bands and then the FD and dyes. So we used red dye, yellow dye, and blue dye from our lab kit. And then it wanted us to view the bands for the Kool-Aid, and also check if like the acidity went up or down, or if it measured differently with the anti-acid, which was the NaCl, which is just salt. And also we did it 3 times with all 3 different colors, and then we measured it each and every single one. And then we identified the dyes, which one they used, and also that was it. That was for the Kool-Aid one. For the Kool-Aid one, it was, I don't remember, I think it was 2, because I know we had to dump the Kool-Aid in 3 different cups, and then we did the dyes in 3 different strips, and then another 3 different strips for the Kool-Aid to see if it raised it up or down. But I will also add those into the video, into this lab report, and so you can see the pictures of each one. But yeah, so that was for the Kool-Aid experiment, and that was the last experiment that I did. So thank you for everything. Bye.